What's up, you guys? Your man Jace. I just want to come on here real quick because I have something a message that I want to get out. It's been on my heart, been on my mind, and I think, you know, it's time for me to share it with my YouTube family because I think it can help someone else. So, the one thing that has been sticking out to me is don't overstay your welcome. And that's something that I used to hear like my grandmother say, or like, my older relatives always say like don't overstay your welcome. And what they meant at the time was like if you go to someone's house, you need to know when to leave. Like don't stay there all day, all night, like have some respect and know when it's time to leave and go home. But I think that message can apply to everyday scenarios, and it made me think about my life and where I've been, where I am, and where I'm going. And that's something that I wish I would have thought about more often throughout the years. I'll share with you a quick story. So I joined the military when I was 20 years old, so back in 2010, and I got stationed in Little Rock, Arkansas. And for those of you who don't know, I am from a small town in Virginia, so moving to Arkansas definitely wasn't on my dream sheet, but I was somewhat okay with it because I was like, okay, it's not too big of a city. I should be fine. Well, fast forward, I did my I did my enlistment. I only did one enlistment, 6 years. I did 4 years active duty and 2 years in the reserves. And during that time, I had the opportunity to come back home. I didn't take it out of fear. I stayed there. I had military friends that left. People were leaving, and I'd make new friends, and they leave too. And it was just like, okay, everybody is coming and going, but I'm still the constant factor, right? Fast forward, I get out of the military. I had a job. I was going to school at the time. Had another opportunity around 2019 to leave. Didn't do it. Afraid, because I hadn't finished my degree and things like that. I always wanted to move back to the DC area for various reasons. It's relatively close to home, but still not too close where I'm gonna be, inundated with family members all the time, but close enough, if I need to get home in a few hours, I can. A quick drive home. But as we know, 2019, 2020, COVID happened. So that delayed me as well. And then 2022, at the end of 2022, well, mid to late 2022, I started to have that feeling again like, man, I want to leave this place. Things were happening for me, but at a very slow pace. I hated my job. I was in a relationship at the time that wasn't going well, and actually it had ended by that point, but it was still, I was just unhappy. And I finally made the decision to, you know what? I'm going to make the decision to move back to the DMV area, preferably DC. And so it was October of that year, I made the decision, and by February of the next year, I was here in DC. And probably like, okay, what does it have to do with anything? It has everything. It has everything to do with everything, because when I stepped out on faith and really believed in myself and believed that God was going to provide for me, my life changed. I've done more in the last 2 years of my life than I did in the 13 years that I was in Little Rock. And I only have myself to blame. It's not my ex's fault. It's not my family's fault. It's not the military's fault. It's not God's fault. It's my fault because I didn't have enough faith to believe that I was going to be okay. I don't know where the faith came from, but I think it was more so, well, I do know where it came from. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, right? And so I was just fed up and needed to do something different. And I prayed about it. I confided in, I think, maybe 3 to 5 people max. I didn't tell everybody. I told my mom. I told my good friend Bert, and I told Dante. I believe that was like the only 3 people that I told. Oh, and I told my friend Bree, so that was 4 people. I locked in. I was looking for jobs. I came out to DC a couple of times to scope out the area, and then I really put a plan into motion and set a finite date. And so once that happened, things started to move. Like when I moved out here, I'll be honest with y'all, I didn't have a job. Like until the last day at my previous job in Little Rock, I got a call from the employer here. It was like, hey, are you still interested? We can interview you. That was on a Friday. I interviewed that Monday and was hired on the spot. But even if I wouldn't have got hired, I was still moving out here. I had money saved up. I had, things in order to make sure that I was going to be somewhat okay. But the rest I left in God's hands. And I think the point of this video is just for you to understand, like, in order for you to get to that next step in your life, sometimes you got to make a change, whether that's career, whether that's relationship, whether that's location. Sometimes you have to make a change for God to be able to catapult you to the next level. And I say catapult because in the last 2 years, I've met the love of my life. I'm about to get married. I've got my master's degree, which if y'all don't know, but it took me like 6-7 years to get my bachelor's degree, and I got my master's degree in the allotted time that I was supposed to. I've had 2 jobs since I've moved here, and the career that I'm in now, the company that I work for, I am extremely happy. I was being outright bullied when I was in Little Rock. I was being chastised every day. Racial incidents happen, all types of stuff. So God really pretty much did a complete 180 on my situation, and it was all because I put a plan in motion and had the faith to believe that he was going to take care of me. And I think that's the biggest thing, is that you have to, one, have a plan, execute the plan, but also have faith to believe that it's going to happen. And along the way, other great things have happened. And some things that's going on now that I can't share right now, but I will. But even with that, stuff that I never thought I could experience and have in my life, I'm now getting ready to walk into that season, all because I decided to move. And I think that's the thing that we need to hear as men, is stop being complacent with your situation. Know that it can change and get better, but you have to do the legwork. You can't rely on anybody else outside of God to help you. You are a man. You can do it for yourself. Again, find somebody that you can confide in and make it happen. Trust yourself. Have enough trust and enough faith in yourself and God that, hey, I can make this situation better for me, and it will happen. That's really all I want to say. I wanted to get off my chest because it's really been hitting me hard, like in a good way. Like, man, my life has changed so much in a positive light, and I'm so grateful and so thankful that I made the decision to not overstay my welcome any longer and to push myself to move forward. And I want to encourage you, whoever you are, wherever you are, to push yourself, believe in yourself, and execute on that plan that you have. If you can believe it, you can achieve it. As corny as that sound, it is true. And I just want to encourage somebody today to keep pushing forward. I love you guys. Yeah, I love you. Thank you for tuning in and listening to this message to the end. And I wish you the best. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.